A frog freezes solid beside a forest pond, then wakes later. Its heart stops. Its blood turns icy. Spring should finish the story there. Instead, the animal stands up and hops away. Tonight we are chasing creatures that ignore impossible conditions. Ice, drought, acid, darkness, and pressure all take a turn. By the end, one survivor will live where steel fears depth. But first, how does freezing not turn living tissue into knives? Wood frogs survive winter with chemistry, not warm blood. As temperatures crash, their liver dumps glucose through the body. That sugar floods cells before major freezing begins. It works like emergency packing material around delicate machinery. Ice still forms, but much of it stays outside cells. That matters because internal crystals slash membranes apart. Up to 65% of body water can freeze. The frog stops moving. Breathing pauses. The heart can stop entirely. Then sunlight and thawing restart circulation like nothing happened. Not perfectly, though. These frogs still risk damage, dehydration, and timing mistakes. Even their survival has a narrow window. And another cold specialist solved the same problem differently. Picture a fish moving under Antarctic ice in dim blue water. The ocean around it sits below ordinary freshwater, freezing. Most fish would die as ice spread through blood and organs. Antarctic notothenoids avoid that trap with antifreeze proteins. Those proteins lock onto tiny ice crystals immediately. They stop the crystals from growing into lethal shards. Seawater can stay liquid near minus 1.9 degrees Celsius, so these fish can survive in the coldest waters on Earth, 0.9 degrees Celsius. So these fish swim in water colder than many home freezers. Some species also cut corners in stranger ways. Ice fish have very little hemoglobin, and some almost none. That sounds terrible for oxygen transport. In polar seas, extra dissolved oxygen makes it possible. Their blood can look pale because the usual red pigment is reduced. Myth says they are weak accidents. Truth says they are precise cold water specialists. Still, frozen oceans are wet worlds. The next survivor almost deletes water completely. A curled grain on moss looks dead, dusty, and forgotten. Rain lands. Hours later, the grain unfolds and crawls again. Tardigrades survive drying by entering cryptobiosis. That means metabolism drops so low it nearly vanishes. They can lose about 95% of body water. Most animals call that the end. Tardigrades call it a pause. Their cells make protective molecules and unusual proteins. Those molecules help membranes and DNA keep their structure. Some scientists compare the dried state to biological glass. Movement stops, growth stops, reproduction stops. But enough order remains for life to restart later. It is not magic sleep. It is controlled emergency shutdown. That same idea appears in another tiny survivor with a twist, and the twist makes damaged DNA part of the comeback. Now, trade frozen ponds for a scorching pool that smells chemical. Steam rises from the surface. The water looks hostile enough to erase skin. Yet life still settles there. Animals rarely dominate the harshest acid pools, but life does. Some archaea thrive where pH falls shockingly low. Certain acidic springs approach pH 0 to 1. That is near the acidity people compare to battery acid. They survive because their membranes and proteins resist chemical attack. Pumps in the cell wall help control what gets inside. Repair systems constantly fix molecular damage. These organisms are not animals, but they redraw the boundary first. That matters because it reveals the rule underneath. Extreme places do not need invincible bodies. They need bodies built for one exact disaster. A normal streamfish dies there quickly. A specialist reads the same pool as home. And when acid is not the problem, missing oxygen can be. Look under winter ice on a quiet northern lake. The surface seals shut, air access disappears. Mud uses up oxygen fast. Painted turtles can remain underwater through the cold season. Their trick is brutal patience. Heart rate plummets, energy demand collapses. Cold slows every reaction until survival becomes cheaper. Some freshwater turtles can stay submerged for months. They also handle rising acids in a bizarre way. Minerals from shell and skeleton help buffer the chemistry. In other words, the body uses its own hard parts as support. Myth says turtles simply hold one giant breath. Truth says they switch into a different metabolic budget entirely. That budget only works because winter cools the whole system. Warm water would burn energy too fast. So cold becomes a partner, not an enemy. And if turtles can stretch time underwater, smaller life can push farther.
Brine shrimp begin life with a strategy older than panic. Their embryos can wait through salt shocks and drying spells. Lakes shrink, salinity spikes, mud cracks. The future generation simply remains on standby. These cysts package life in a protected state. Metabolism drops low. Protective compounds stabilize proteins and membranes. Then water returns and development resumes. That means the species can survive places that keep disappearing. Temporary lakes are chaos to most animals. To brine shrimp, chaos is a schedule. The living body does not endure every extreme directly. Sometimes the egg does the hard part first. That reversal matters. The strongest stage is not always the adult. And on land, another tiny specialist survives by outrunning heat itself. A silver blur sprints across desert sand at midday. Predators hesitate. The ground can burn feet within seconds. Saharan silver ants treat that furnace like a short work shift. They forage in temperatures around 53.6 degrees Celsius. They move fast, but speed is only half the trick. Tiny triangular hairs reflect sunlight efficiently. Their long legs lift the body above the hottest sand layer. They dash out when lizards often overheat and retreat. That creates a narrow, safe window with fewer hunters. So the ant does not conquer heat continuously. It exploits a brief hour when danger flips direction. Myth says desert survival means storing endless water. Truth says timing can matter more than storage. Use the deadly moment correctly, and it becomes your shield. Even plants do something similar by opening pores at cooler times. But heat on land still feels ordinary beside the deep ocean. Drop through dark water toward an ocean trench, sunlight disappears fast. Color fades. Pressure keeps rising every few body lengths. Pressure increases about 1 atmosphere every 10 meters. At meters, that means roughly 800 atmospheres. Hard shells and air spaces become a problem there. Deep animals avoid those weaknesses by staying soft. Many use compounds like TMAO to help proteins keep working. Membranes also need special chemistry to stay flexible under crushing force. The body is not bracing against pressure like a submarine hull. It is matching the surrounding pressure with tissues that compress little. That is a very different engineering strategy. No windows. No large air pockets, no rigid drama, just chemistry tuned for darkness and depth. Yet even here, survival does not look glamorous. One of the deepest fish resembles a gentle, translucent ghost, and that ghost is an absolute specialist. Before we meet it, consider a jelly that bends life backward. Turritopsis became famous for its supposed immortality. The idea sounds simple and wrong at the same time. When stressed, injured, or starving, some individuals can reverse development. The Medusa stage can transform toward an earlier polyp stage. That is not endless life for one unchanged body. Predators still eat them, disease still harms them, accidents still win. Myth says immortal jellyfish live forever untouched. Truth says their life cycle can reboot under certain conditions. Cells change roles in a process called transdifferentiation. That makes the animal biologically weird, not magically untouchable. Even so, the concept is astonishing. nature found a way to rewind the schedule. Now imagine combining rewind with drying, freezing, and pressure tolerance. That combination points toward the tiny icon everyone mentions, often badly.
A speck on moss looks finished, cracked, and beyond repair. Then water arrives. Legs uncurl. The speck walks away as if nothing happened. Deloid rotifers perform another version of the Great Pause. They dry out almost completely, then revive after rehydration. Drying shatters DNA and stresses every membrane in the body. Yet these rotifers repair severe damage during recovery. That matters because survival is not only about avoiding harm. Sometimes it is about surviving harm, then rebuilding accurately. Researchers noticed a useful overlap here. Radiation and desiccation can break genetic material in related ways. So machinery that repairs drying damage may also help after radiation. Myth says resistance means no injury occurs. Truth says some extremophiles are outstanding repair projects. Break, restore, continue. That formula sounds inefficient. Across long timescales, it is brilliant. You do not need perfect protection if you can return from wreckage. And one deeper champion applies the same logic to pressure itself. The Mariana snailfish lives where the ocean becomes almost abstract. One was filmed around 336 meters down. There, pressure exceeds 800 times surface level. A human body without protection would fail immediately. A standard-looking fish should not belong there either. But snailfish are not built like standard fish. Their bodies are soft, lightly built, and low in hard structures. They have fewer compressible spaces to collapse. Their chemistry helps proteins function despite the crushing environment. Even their lifestyle fits the place. They feed on small animals in trenches where competition changes. For years, people assumed vertebrates had a hard depth limit. Each deeper observation kept pushing that line downward. The trench does not care about our intuition. It only rewards what works. And what works often looks fragile from the surface. Tardigrades became internet legends, but the truth is better. They are not indestructible superheroes. They are tiny animals with a stacked survival toolkit. Different species handle different extremes with different success. Some endure freezing, dehydration, vacuum exposure, and intense radiation better than others. Size helps, because smaller bodies reduce internal stress gradients. But size alone explains very little. Protective proteins, controlled shutdown, and repair systems do the real work. Some experiments exposed tardigrades to temperatures near -272 Celsius. That does not mean they stroll happily through every deep freeze. It means carefully prepared individuals can survive astonishing conditions briefly. Some lab tests also pushed pressures near 24.0 atmospheres. Again, context matters. Not every animal lived, not every condition matched nature. Still, the results prove tiny bodies can tolerate extremes we barely imagine. And the bigger lesson is stranger than any single record. Many extremophiles do not win by overpowering danger. They win by slowing life until danger loses interest. No roaring muscles, no giant armor, no heroic sprint. Just chemistry whispering instead of shouting. That pattern appears again and again across the planet. Freeze and wait, dry and wait, burrow and wait, shift the life stage and wait. The best survivor is often the best pauser. That sounds passive. It is one of evolution's boldest inventions. Stopping correctly is harder than charging forward. It demands timing, internal control, and the ability to restart cleanly. Nature keeps rediscovering that answer because impossible seasons keep returning. And once you notice that pattern, it appears everywhere. Seeds can wait years for the right rain. Fungal spores cross continents on air. Desert killifish leave eggs in mud that later floods. Some insects survive winter with antifreeze compounds. Some frogs use glucose. Some fish use proteins.
Some turtles borrow buffering power from shell and bone. Different branches of life keep solving the same equation with new tools. How do you outlive a world temporarily built against you? You become temporary too. That idea reaches from polar ice to boiling springs. It reaches from shallow moss to the deepest trench. It even explains why specialists often look delicate. They are not built for every world. They are built for one terrible world exactly. And when that world arrives,